Okay, good morning to everyone. Myself, I am Surya Narayana, working as an assistant professor in DBS IT Kavali. Today, the presentation on subject finite element method, which is for third year mechanical engineers. Today, I am going to explain about formulation of Fe equation. Fe means finite element. Formulation of finite element equation in Unit 1. First of all, coming to formulation of finite element equation using direct approach, here I am showing that the general expression for total potential energy in an elastically loaded structure. In this phi t, we already know that phi is the indication for potential energy. The potential energy is obtained from subtracting strain energy from, which is phi equal to U minus W, which is subtracting from the strain energy is subtracted from work done due to external force U minus W. Therefore, phi suffix T is nothing but total potential energy that equal to half integral V in terms of volume V. I'm integrating the terms of like stress vector sigma T, strain vector EdV minus integral V U transpose FdV minus integral in terms of L U transpose T dt minus sigma Ui transpose Pi. Here, if you observe this expression, then here I'm integrating all the terms with volume V and length L. The first term will be integral V sigma power T EdV. This one is the integral V U transpose FdV. This is the body load vector. And next minus integral L U transpose T dt. This one is the traction load vector minus this term is completely about point loads. First of all, I want to derive the element stiffness matrix based on the equation of finite element equation. Okay. From that finite element equation, I have to derive the equation for element stiffness matrix. We already know that the stiffness matrix is denoted by the parameter of K, Ke. That means particularly for one element, Ke. Consider the first term in the general expression, total strain energy. U is indication for strain energy. Therefore, that equal to half integral V sigma power T E dV. Sigma is the stress vector, E is the strain vector, dV is the volume of derivative V. After then UE equal to half integral. We already know that sigma that equal to EBQ. E is the Young's modulus, V is the strain displacement matrix. Next Q is the unknown nodal displacement. Therefore, E strain energy that equal to unknown nodal displacement into strain displacement matrix. I'm substituting those values sigma E values in the equation in the above equation. Instead of sigma, I'm substituting the value of EBQ in sigma power T. Therefore, I get half integral V. In the place of sigma, I'm substituting EBQ transpose and volume of dq and dv. In the place of dv, volume of derivative v. The volume of dv, I'm substituting the value of area into dx. That means I'm differentiating the value of volume in terms of area, a dx. Then after all calculations, half integral, that means after all integrations, I get half. Then I'm taking Q transpose as the common here, Q transpose, the remaining terms will be E. These for particular element, then E, and then area E, next B transpose, and then B. Then I am applying the limits for dx, x1 to x2, x1 to x2 dx, and remaining will be Q. Therefore, where we already know that B is the strain displacement matrix, after substituting the limits here, x1, x2, taking upper limits and lower limits, then B equal to 1 by x2 minus x1, the limits will be -1 to 1. After then, I'm taking the limits in terms of length. Okay, 1 by LE, length for particular element, -1 and 1. Therefore, the rows will be transferred as a columns. B transpose that equal to 1 by LE -1, 1. Then I'm multiplying B transpose with B, strain displacement matrix. After then, I will get 1 by LE -1, 1. 1 by LE is the B value, and this one is the B transpose value. I'm multiplying those both values, and I will get B transpose into B. Then 1 by LE -1, 1, 1 by LE -1, 1. Then after calculations, I will get 1 by LE, 1 by LE, that equal to 1 by LE square -1, 1 plus 1, and then -1, 1, 1 minus 1, -1, and then 1, 1, 1. Okay, observe there this point, -1 to -1 plus 1, -1 to 1, 1, -1, 1 minus 1, -1, 1 into 1, 1. And after then, integrating the limits x1 to x2 dx, that equal to x in terms of limits, upper limit and lower limit, that equal to x2 minus x1, that is the length of particular element. Therefore, we already know that from the above equation, UE that equal to half into Q transpose, in the place of B transpose. That means instead of B transpose B, I'm substituting the value of B transpose B, that equal to 1 by LE square, 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1 here. After all substitutions, I will get UE that equal to half into Q transpose. This is equal to K. K equal to, we already know that K equal to AE by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1. Instead of this entire value, I'm substituting K here, KEQ. Then the second factor will be element body load vector, FE. Integral B, U transpose FdV. U transpose, U is the strain energy of the system. U transpose F is the body load vector, body forces, and derivative of volume V. Therefore, in terms of L length, U equal to NQ. U equal to N is the shape function, Q is the unknown nodal displacement. U equal to NQ transpose FdV. In terms of dV, volume V, similar to element stress matrix, here also I am substituting the value of A dx, area in terms of dx. After then, integral L, Q transpose N transpose FA dx. Then I'm taking the values of Q transpose A F and integrating only the term shape function N transpose dx. Then I will get Q transpose A F and applying the integration for N. Then N transpose dx, I will get integral N1 dx and integral N2 dx. Therefore, Q transpose is taken as common. Then the remaining terms will be AEF, then length L by 2, 1, 1. Here integral N1 dx equal to N2 integral N2 dx. these two parameters are same, n1 equal to n2, that equal to LE by 2. That LE by 2 is written in this parameter, that will be written in numerator and denominator. Therefore, Q transpose into FE. Okay. Therefore, FE equal to F AEL by 2, 1, 1. This is the element body load vector. After that, third one is the element traction load vector. Okay, in the first slide, I was told you about this is the stress and strain vectors. This term will be completely body load vector. This is the traction load vector. This is the point loads. Okay. The third derivative will be element traction vector. In this, I'm taking the third term in pi t. Okay. These are the three terms. In the first equation, we've seen that in terms of pi t, total potential energy, we have seen that one is the body load vector. This term will be useful to get element body load vector. This is the element traction vector. This is the point load. For this element traction vector, I am taking this term, third term, integral L U transpose T dt. T dt. That means integral L U transpose T dx. U transpose U equal to NQ transpose T dx. T, we already know that in the element body load vector, FA dx. In terms of FA dx, we are substituting the value of Q transpose N transpose. In this also same phenomena is applied here. For U, NQ transpose T dx. T dx, in terms of dx, I'm taking the Q transpose as common and then integrating the term N transpose dx. After that, similar to element body load vector, here also Q transpose T into integral N1 dx and integral N2 dx. Then integral with respect to L U transpose T dx, that equal to Q transpose into T. TE is the temperature, traction load vector, that is T into LE by 2. T into LE by 2, 1, 1. That is for element traction load vector, that equal to Q transpose into TE. After that, temperature load vector. This is the final term. If temperature gradient is exist, then that means temperature gradient is theta will be given in that problem. Then after that, temperature load theta equal to AE E naught. E naught equal to alpha delta T. Alpha is the thermal diffusivity, delta T is the temperature gradient. Temperature load vector theta equal to AE alpha delta T minus 1, 1. Here, for the identification, I am denoting besides to temperature load vector. This is for 1 and this is for 2. Then global load vector will be summing of all forces like body forces, traction forces, and temperature load vectors with point loads. Then it will be called as global load vector. After the equilibrium equation, we already know that the finite element equation or equilibrium equation will be KQ equal to F. K is the element stiffness matrix, Q is the unknown nodal displacement, F is the force vector or global load vector. Then equations for stress, sigma equal to EE, E equal to BQ, R equal to KQ, that equal to F. Resultant will be stiffness matrix into unknown nodal displacement. If temperature gradient is present, sigma equal to E into BQ minus alpha T, alpha delta T. These are all equations will be remembered for doing the problems in finite element method. First of all, for example, I am taking a non-uniform bar here. Non-uniform means the cross section will be changed here. First of all, it has high volume, and then it will be reduced like stepped bar. It is a one-dimensional stepped bar here or non-uniform bar. First of all, this one is a cantilever beam. Cantilever beam with two fixed ends, one end and two ends. In this, they given three elements, 1, 2, 3. And the properties for three elements like thermal diffusivity, alpha 1, alpha 2, element 2, alpha 3, thermal diffusivity for element 3. First one is the bronze and materials, bronze, second one aluminum, third one is the steel. And the area Young's modulus for first element 2400 mm square, Young's modulus 83 gigapascal. For element 2, A2, E2, for element 3, A3, E3. Length for element 1, 800 mm for length, element 1, 600 mm for element 2, 400 mm for element 3. The temperature gradient will be delta T that equal to 80 degrees Celsius. It will be applied for all three elements. First of all, discretization and element connectivity table. We already know that discretization is nothing but dividing the structure into number of elements or nodes based on type of element, size of element, location of nodes. Okay, by following these factors, we are discretizing that structure into number of. Okay, in this discretization will be shown here. The stepped bar having three elements. Element 1, bronze, aluminum, steel, having the properties areas and Young's modulus, the length will be noted here. In this, for first element, second elements, the point loads are acting the opposite reversal form to the particular element. For first element, the point load which is also in a reversal direction. Second, the point load which is acting in reversal form. for element 2, which is 75 kilonewton. Okay, for first element 60 kilonewton and second element 75 kilonewton. Those are acting in reversal direction from the point of direction. In this, first of all, I'm showing the discretization process. First of all, I'm writing all the elements, first element, second element, God 600, 400 here. Then parallelly, I'm writing the point loads, body loads here. For every element having two nodes. Okay, in that for first element, the nodes will be node 1, node 2. For second element, okay, in this, first of all, discretization and element connectivity table. This phenomena can be understood by following. First of all, I'm writing all the nodes and elements here. In this problem, first of all, in this problem, they given 3 elements here. For every element, for every element, there will be 2 nodes here. For first element, it is divided or discretized into 2 nodes. For first element, it will be 1, 2. For second element, 2, 3. For third element, 3, 4. Then this phenomena can be understood by following the connectivity table here. In left side, I am writing element and right side nodes. For first element, the nodes will be 1, 2, and second element 2, 3. For third element 3, 4. This is the element connectivity table. First one is the discretization process. After then, boundary conditions. Why I am taking the boundary conditions Q1 that equal to Q4 equal to 0. Why? Because in this, I am showing the unknown nodal displacements and force vectors here. Q1 F1, Q2 F2, Q3 F3, Q4 F4. Why? Because for every element there will be 2 nodes. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. For the first element, it is a cantilever beam. Okay, it is a cantilever beam for fixing the both ends, first node and fourth node. Therefore, first node will be Q4. Sorry, first node will be Q1 and end node will be Q4. Therefore, Q1 that equal to Q4. While taking the boundary condition, we have to see the given beam, which is like a simply supported beam or cantilever beam or UDL. First of all, you have to see those ends will be fixed or not. If fixed, then those points will be taken as boundary conditions. Q1 equal to Q4, that is Q1 fixed, Q1 that equal to 0, Q4 fixed, that equal to also zeros. After the boundary conditions then applied, the next step will be calculation of element stiffness matrix. Ke equal to, we already know the equation for calculation of stiffness matrix for particular element. Okay, we are calculating for elements, not for nodes. K equal to AE by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1. For first element, the Young's modulus equal to 83 into 83 gigapascal. I'm converting into pascals. K1 for element 1, Young's modulus will be 83 into 10 cube. Area will be 2400 mm square. Length will be 800. 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1. After the values 10 power 5 as common, then the values will be 2.49 minus 2.49 minus 2.49, 2.49. Then for identification, I'm taking the numbers like 1, 2 in upper side, and besides that, I'm also writing the 1, 2 for that element stiffness matrix K1. For K2 and K3 also similar, by taking the values and substituting instead of here EE, in terms of EE for element 2, I'm taking the value of Young's modulus E2 as 70 gigapascal, for E3 200 gigapascal. After then area for second element, area for third element. Then I will get the element stiffness matrix for 3 elements like K1, K2, K3. After the finding process of element stiffness matrix, we have to calculate the global stiffness matrix. That is K equal to summing of all stiffness matrix, that equal to K equal to K1 plus K2 plus K3. Okay, this one is the process for finding out the global stiffness matrix by summing of K equal to taking 10 power 5 as common and writing the values of K11, K12, K13, K14, K24, 31, 32, 33, 34, 41, 42, 43, 44. In terms of K11, first of all, for writing the global stiffness matrix, we have to see K11, K11, 1, 2, 1, K11, K21, K12,
Sir, voice.
K22. Okay. First of all, for writing K11 in the place of matrix, 11 will be K11. It is 2.49. Next K12. K12 will be minus 2.49. K13 is 0, 13. Okay. 3 here. No 13 is placed. K13 is 0. K14 is also 0. Okay. Next coming to K21. K21 will be minus 2.49. But coming to K22, we have to add two values like 22. In the place of 22, K22, 1 is 2.49 in element stiffness matrix of element 1, K1, 2.49. Next, summing another element stiffness matrix K2, 2 will be 1.4. That means 2.49 plus 1. 2.49 plus 1.4. After that, similarly, 23. K23 is minus 1.4, 24 is 0. This is the process for writing global stiffness matrix based on the P equation. After writing all equations and taking the values, 10 power 5 that equal to 2.49 minus 2.4900. Summing of K22 value, you will get 3.89, 1.4 plus 3, 4.4. Okay, this one is the global stiffness matrix. After global stiffness matrix, you have to calculate the body load and traction loads and temperature loads here. In that point, body loads. Okay, here they given only point loads, not body loads and traction loads here. For that problem, I'm calculating only temperature loads here. We already know that for calculating temperature vector theta that is equal to A alpha delta T minus 1, 1. For element 1, the area will be 2400, and small less 83 into 10 cube. Next, alpha thermal diffusivity for first element 18.9 into 10 power minus 6. Temperature gradient will be applicable for all elements, which is 80 minus 1, 1. The values will be 10 power 5 as taken common, minus 3.012, 3.012, 12. Okay, for only identification and remembering process, I'm writing besides to here number 1 and number 2. For element 2, the temperature load vector will be same, but change the values of area and Young's modulus and thermal diffusivity here. The formula will be similar for calculating all temperature loads, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3. After getting all the values, you have to write and note down the values like 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Based on this point, to calculate the force vectors here. Point loads. After then temperature calculations, you have to calculate the point loads and write down the values. Point loads at node 1. Okay. You want to understand this phenomena. First of all, we have to analyze the problem here. In that problem, for element 1, nodes are 1, 2. For element 2, nodes are 2, 3. For element 3, nodes are 3, 4. Then for node 2, okay, for node 1, the point loads or body loads, all loads are absent. At point 2, at node 2, the load which is acting 60 kilonewton in reversal direction, minus 60 at node 2. At node 3, absent. Sorry, at node 2, minus 60. 2 at node 3, which is acting minus 75 kilonewton. Why? Because I'm negative this point. It is applied in reversal or opposite direction, minus 75 kilonewton. Okay. The remaining all nodes will be zeros. At node 2, minus 60 into 10 cube Newton. At node 3, minus 75 into 10 cube Newton. Node 4, 0. After then calculating of global load vector. In previous, we calculated global stiffness matrix. In that point, global load vector. That means summing of all forces, traction loads, temperature load vectors, and point loads with point loads, adding with point loads. In this, force vector will be written based on temperature loads. First of all, theta will be 10 power 5, 1, 2, minus 3.012, 3.012, 1, 2. It will be written minus only for 1. Only for 1, minus 3.012 into 10 power 5. For second, the global load vector will be force vector. Temperature load vector for second element 3.012 minus 1.54. Okay, this will be in ascending order. Sorry, this will be in descending order. Decreased from the above 3.012 minus 1.54. This is for force vector of second element 3.012 minus 1.454 and including the point loads minus 60 into 10 cube and into 10 power 5. Then at node 3, at node 3, 1.54 minus 1.12 minus 0.75. At node 3, the point load which is acting in reversal direction minus 75 to 10 cube into 10 power 5. Then the remaining term will be 1.12 into 10 power 5. This is the procedure for writing the force vector. F equal to 10 power 5. The values will be F equal to 10 power 5 minus 3.012, 0.872 minus 0.33, 1.12. Then we already know that the finite element equation or the analyzed equation will be KQ equal to F. In this equation, K equal to stiffness, global stiffness matrix, Q equal to unknown nodal displacements, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, F equal to force vector. F equal to force vector. Previously we calculated F equal to 10 power 5 into 4 values. Applying the boundary conditions, the problem we already discussed about what is the procedure for taking the boundary Uh, okay. Finally, calculation of support reactions for fixed ends K11, K12. Those are the nodes fixed ends K12, Q2. Finally, K43, K44. These are the fixed ends. But I'm calculating the support reactions based on K2 plus K13, Q3 that equal to F1. K4 to Q2 plus K43 Q3 that equal to F4 plus R4. Finally, the reactions will be R1 that equal to 245.6 kilonewton, R4 that equal to minus 110.8 kilonewton. Okay. Thank you, students. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to DBS Talks YouTube channel